Rev Tov, Mishkapa,
Erev Tov, Lila Tov.
Lila
Hallelujah.
Tov.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hey, Aki Gerald,
Yes, sir.
what do you know about the book of Jasher?
Um, a
Rev
little
Tov.
bit. I read in it a little bit. It kind of fills in a few gaps, but uh, I try to take it with a grain of salt. Um, but yeah, I've read a little bit in it,
Okay.
and very interesting. Very interesting. I need to indulge in it a little bit deeper.
Okay. Do you know if it's a who do you think wrote that book?
I don't. I haven't studied it probably as much as you.
Okay. But if I said the book of Jasher, what would you think? Would you think it's a book written by a prophet?
Yashar, that Jasher wrote it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's what we all thought, right? And we're
Uh-huh.
we're all thinking. I'm going to share something with you tonight because I had a debate earlier today with a rabbi from New York, and
Okay.
I had to. He was using the book of Jasher as a way to say that the texts that are written in the Torah and the texts that are written in the prophets and the writings, they all have errors. And he said that the book of Jasher um, confirms something about an error. And I asked him, I said, well, is the book of Jasher, did the book of Jasher have any errors? And he said, oh, yeah, that's corrupted too. I said, oh, okay. So they're corrupted and you're saying everything's corrupt. And he said, yeah. And one of the things that he said was that he uses First Samuel chapter number 1, verse number 18, and we're going to go there, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to show you guys some things that you need to know because this is, I mean, it's about teaching, but also too, it's about us to know what's going on. But I want to bless the Torah. Baruch atah, or berakutet yawad hamvaraka, the baruch yawad hamvaraka la mayed, the baruch atah yawad Eloheinu the melech ha'alam, asher de bekare banu de mikol de ha'amayim, the benatan lenu the et Torato, the baruch atah yawad, the notena ha'torah, the baruch atah yawad, the Eloheinu the melech Ha'alam asher natan lanu, the Torah te dimete wakaye de alam, nata de botokinu de barukata Yahweh, the notena ha'torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, you are the blessed one. Blessed are you, Yahweh, for you the blessed one for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, for you are our Elohim, the King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and given us his Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim. You're the King of the universe. You've given us the Torah of truth. You've implanted eternal life within us. We bless you because you are our Elohim. You are the giver of the Torah. And we say, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise be to the Holy One of Israel. All right. So when we think about the book of Jasher, we think that it's written by somebody named Jasher. When you think about the book or the prophet Yirmiyahu, you say, "Oh, Yirmiyahu's the prophet," or
Right.
the book of Isaiah. Oh,
Yes.
Isaiah wrote it. So this is the understanding that a lot of us have. Okay, and so the book of Jasher is not the book of Jasher. Okay, so let me prove it to you because this was a big hot topic for me today in the debate that I had today. Okay, I'm always debating people around the country now because they don't know the Torah. They don't know the Torah, not whatsoever. Okay. So anytime you guys have any questions, I want you to feel free to ask them because that's why I am here. All right. That's why I name myself Akika because I am your brother. Okay. So the first place that I want to go, yes. Someone ask a question? First Samuel, I think it's chapter 1, verse number 18. Or is it Second Samuel? It has to be Second Samuel. It can't be First Samuel. Because King Saul didn't die in chapter First Samuel. Oh, there it is. Second Samuel. Forgive me. Second Samuel, chapter number 1, verse number 18. Okay, this is talking about the death of Saul and the death of Jonathan. Okay, this is history. This is written by Shemuel. Okay, who was a prophet, and he was somebody who worked with Eli the priest and his sons. He was called to this calling when he was a kid. Okay. As you can see, there's a stuma. I told you guys what a stuma is. In the Hebrew text, they use this as to let us know that, okay, I'm about to change the aspect of the teaching. The teaching is about, let's just say, the death of someone. Okay. Right. In this case, it's the death of Saul. Okay. And his son. And there's different parts of it. There's different segments, like how they got killed, where they got killed, so forth and so on. Now that this is ended, because in the Torah, as I told you, these divisions let you know when things are going to stop. So this little letter right here basically means that there's a space between this word here and this word here in the Torah. So there might be a space like about this big between these two parts right here. So this word right here will be right here. And then the next word will start right here. And this space is what you call this part right here. Okay. And that lets you know that, hey, I'm just changing the aspect. I'm not changing the teaching. The teaching is about the same subject, but this is just another part of it. Everyone understands that. I'm talking about a brake job, how to do brakes. The first part of the brake job, I'm going to tell you about the pads. That's a stuma. The next thing I'll tell you about is the springs. That's another stuma. I'm going to tell you then about the brake dust. That's another stuma. Okay. And then at the end of all my teaching, I got a putuka. That means it's the end of the teaching. Now we ain't gonna talk about brakes no more. Now we're gonna talk about let's say the battery, the electrical. Okay, I'm just giving these things out, and I'm talking a little fast, but I got information to cover tonight. So this guy is telling us about the book of Jasher, and he's telling us that David sung a song to Jonathan and Saul. It says, and lamented David. Sorry about that, guys. It lamented David. David lamented with lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan, his son, and he told to teach the sons of Yehuda. And then they have right here, I want to show you something. They say the song of the bow, because this is what this rabbi was telling me. Oh, there's a song of the bow. And so we know that these brackets right here, you see these brackets? Those brackets tell us something. That tell us, does anybody know what those brackets mean?
It was added.
Yes, absolutely. This was added. It's not in the text. Okay. So forget about this. It's not there. So why are they putting it there? I don't know, but it's added. So anything that they might add it sometimes so it can make sense. They might add it for whatever reason. But the word song is never mentioned nowhere in here. It's missing. There's nothing here talking about a shara or a mizmor. No song whatsoever. Okay. And then they say the song of the bow. Okay. A kasheth, which is a bow. It is true. So David says he wanted to teach the bow. Teach this. Okay. To the sons of Yehuda. Not all Israel. Just the sons of Yehuda. That's what David said, okay? And he said, indeed. Look at what it says. Indeed, hini or hine, indeed. He tells them to write this thing, okay? A kethuva, okay? And what is a kethuva? Well, right now, I want you to see right here. What does this V mean?
It's action.
Yes, and it's a verb. Okay. And it's letting us know what kind of action. Okay. So we got to figure out, this is what I told you guys about the Hebrew text. And I'm telling you, if you don't know grammar, people can run game on you. So this is saying that David said, I need you to teach the sons of Yehuda about the bow. Okay. Whether it's a song or not is immaterial. What I want you to teach them is about the kethuva. Okay. Now, the kethuva in here is, they said written. Okay. When I write something, it's a couple of ways you could do it. You can write it and it doesn't tell you when it was written. If it was written, is it past, present, or future?
Pass.
Past.
Yes, it's present.
Yes. If I'm writing, what is that? past, present, or future?
Present.
Present.
Writing is present.
Yes. If it's in the future, then I would have to
I
say
will.
I will write, or he will write, or she will write. Okay. So what do we know so far? We know so far that the Hebrew language is going to tell us exactly how it was being done at that time. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we're not making up anything. Okay. So it says it's written. It is written. And again, you see the brackets. So what are the brackets telling us? What is the brackets? It is. What are they telling? Are they're trying to make sense of it for us, right?
Right.
So if it said it is written in the book. So what's written? What is written in the book?
The bow.
Yes, but they call it the song of the bow. Yes. So it is written. Okay. In the book.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you what the book is. Pay attention. The book of what? What book is that?
Jasher.
Not sure. Yeah.
Okay. So
Hayashar.
number one, yes. So what we know so far is they said that it is written in the book of Jasher, right? So if this song, the song of the bow, let's just say it is the song. It's the song of the bow. Okay. That David told to teach the sons of Judah. You and I would think that this book is already what?
Written.
Written, because they said it's written, right?
And there better be a song of the bow in there.
Yes.
Or bow.
Okay. So the question that this rabbi had asked me, and he tried to contend with me, was he's saying, how, if this was true, how could David write in a book that was already written hundreds of years before David was even born? How could he go back and write in that book? Right? The book of Jasher. Now, from what we read so far, you would think that there was a book written past tense about a book of what? A book of Jasher.
Mhm.
Correct?
Right.
Yes.
From what we read. And if we read it in English, it would say the same thing.
Mhm.
So when we're reading the Torah, we're reading this, we go, oh, wait a minute. This confirms that there is a book called the book of Jasher.
Mhm.
Right? All right.
Right.
So
Okay.
if that's the case, you got to figure out who's Jasher. Who's Jasher? Have you heard of Jasher in any other settings or besides this, and also in of the earlier part of the book of Joshua? That's where it's first mentioned. So,
Oh.
so when we read it in the book of Joshua, we thought that there's a book of the book of Jasher. So you and I are
Right.
thinking there's additional what?
Writings.
There's additional writings. So when someone comes along and say, I got the additional writing of the book of Jasher, a person would begin to what? To read it, because they want to read it because they believe that this book existed. Right? So
Mhm.
let's read that to find out more information. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay. So everybody agrees so far that the book of Jasher is a book that's mentioned in Joshua and the book of and Samuel here. And David says that he wanted to teach the sons of Judah the song that they put there, the song of the bow, that's written past tense in the book of Jasher. Now, I'm going to break it down for you Hebraically to show you where the errors are. Okay, you ready? Everybody keep in mind.
Yes.
Everybody keep in mind. Now, we're going to what they call reverse engineer. So I'm not going to start at where David said, teach the sons of Judah. We know that. We don't have to talk about that. We know that the brackets told us something was inserted, which is called the song of. We know that's wrong. It's not there. That's number one. Okay. What else do we have? We have, let me show it to you. So I'm going to go a little bit on reverse engineering. So we got the song of the bow. We know the song is not there. We know that's not there. He just told them to teach them about the bow. Okay. Whether it's a song or not is immaterial. He said it is written. They put it, the translators, whoever wrote this, put it as it is. This is implied because they want you to kind of understand it because you're an English person and you're from this culture. So they use words like is and are and a and all that kind of stuff. But in Hebrew, there is no a, there is no is, there is no are. Those words are put there only for translation purposes. Okay.
Yeah, written is self-explanatory.
Yes. So another thing that I want you to understand is that when we talk about a verb, we know it's an action.
Yes.
So they said this is past because they got it as written. Okay. But if you do your homework and you find out what a participle is, a participle automatically puts you into a present tense. Okay. It puts you in a present tense. So instead of this saying it is written, it is saying writing. Any present tense participle is an ing. That's what a participle is.
So does a verb.
Yes, because it's a verb. It's an action.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's not in the past. They wrote it as it is in the past. It's not in the past. Okay? It isn't in the past. And the reason why it's not in the past, because he's given them instruction to actually do the writing, to write in it. Okay? So let's click on right here and see what a ketuvah is. To write. So now does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So David is telling them to write because it's an ing, to inscribe, to record. Every time you look at a book in Hebrew is not called a book. A book in the Hebrew is called a sefer, which you get your word sefer, which they get it from the Hebrew called a sefer, which is a scroll. It's not a book. It's a scroll. It's a record. It's a way to account for the record. So he's asking them to write. You're going to writing that's being written in this sefer. Here's the word right here. It's called a sefer right here. Sefer, which is a record keeping book to make records. So he's asking them not that it's written, but he's asking them to writing in. Go write in. Go writing in here. Okay. Go write in here. This is where it's right. It's everything is being written in this book. Okay. And here in, it's not in, it's upon. All is not in. It's upon. All means upon. Okay. Everything is written upon is writing upon the sefer. Okay. So we know they call it a book because they translate it for people in English to understand what a sefer is. Okay. But a sefer is not a book. A sefer is a scroll. Okay. Okay. They have here missive, document, writing. See, writing book, but they're going to list it. Yes, they got it. They're just trying to get everybody to understand it. Scroll. They wrote on scrolls. You understand? So when David's making reference to this, he's talking about writing in this scroll. Okay. That's what you do. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the worst part of everything that we've been lied to. Okay. Here's the worst part. It says, write it in the book of what? Jasher, because that's what's in question. Do you look under here right now? Are there any capitalization in the Hebrew for letters? No. So that's the number. No. There are no capitals at all. Okay. In the Hebrew language, not even for a personal pronoun. Okay. None. Let's go wrote that backwards. There's none. So when you call, everybody knows what a noun is. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Okay. This right here in the text is not a name. It's an adjective. It's describing the book. Okay. You never put what they call a definite article on front of any name. This is not a name. It's not a name of a person. It is
Brother,
not a name.
hey, brother Dawid, the hey
Yes,
in
sir.
front of the word is it can it be of? I thought it was always the.
No, that's what you're catching it. It's not of. That is a lie. If it was of, it would be a bet. It wouldn't be a hey. A hey is what they call a definite article. And I'll tell you what hey means. In Hebrew, the hey letter means the.
Right.
Okay. So the Jasher, the book, the Jasher. No, there is no letter J. It's actually called Yashar.
Yes.
Okay. So Yashar is not the name of this of a person. It's never used, and I'm going to show it to you. But I got to tell you why it's the. You never put a definite article in front of something called, have you ever heard them say the Moses?
Right.
You ever hear them say Ha Moshe? Have you ever seen this? No. You never saw Ha Moshe, have you?
Nope.
Have you ever say the Moshe? No. Have you ever say the
Go
Israel?
go talk to the David.
Yeah, go talk to the David. Go talk to you could go talk to the boy, but you never will
Right.
go talk to a personal pronoun like David, a noun. That's him, a person, okay, who has his name. So you don't say the David, you don't say the Moses, you don't say uh, the Isaiah, the Isaiah. You never have to say that because their
Right.
name identifies them. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's another confirmation that there's an article, an ART right here, folks. It means a definite article. Now let me tell you what it is. So I ask you to go get me the book. That's what I want. I want you to go get me the book. And there's a table full of books or a bookshelf with a whole bunch of books on it. If I say, go get me the book, what would you ask me?
Which book?
Which book? Which book? So that's the question. What the definite article tells us is this, is describing the book by saying this book. You would have to identify it by saying the red book, the blue book, the small book, if all the other books are large and this is the smallest one, or the book on the right-hand side, the book
Mhm.
without a binding, the book that looks like a scroll, whatever.
Mhm.
Okay. If I'm talking about the offering, there's all different types of offerings. You'd have to put a definite article on it to let me know what you're talking about. A definite article is the word the and the word the Hebrew word called et, which represent an arrow pointing you directly to where the verb's action is going to. So if
Mhm.
I wanted to say I wanted to eat something, I would have to point to directly what I'm talking about. The bread or uh, the red shoe or whatever. If it was, or the boy, if it was an indefinite article, it wouldn't be the. If it was indefinite, they would use the word a book, a boy. What boy? You'd have to put a definite article to tell you which boy you're talking about. You'd have to describe him, the boy, which one? You understand? So there's definite and indefinite. And because there is a definite article on this, it lets you know automatically that this is not a person. This is not a person. This is a what? It's an adjective. It's describing the book. So what is it about this book that we need to know? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the name and we're going to find out. Okay, so here it is, 3477. Here it is at the top, Yashar, Yashar, Yashar. And it gives you the definition and it tells you right here, what is it's an adjective. It describes something. So in this case, the book of what? They say Yashar, because that's what it is. So the book of what? The book of that which is right the book of that which is straight. That means the book of uprightness.
Sound like the Torah.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere because that's the only book that's upright. Okay, so here it is. And where did that word Yashar come from? It said up there, Yashar, right? And it's just saying it comes from here, Yashar. Let's click on that. And it means to be straight. It means to be straightforward. Okay. It means to be upright. Here you go. Smooth, straight. That to be smooth, to be right. You understand? To be directed, to be agreeable, everything is right. So when Yah asks us to be straight, he's asking us to be Yashar. You understand? To be straight. If you, an arrow can be straight. If you cut some wood, you got to make it smooth. That's Yashar. You understand? So now we find out that this is not, listen to this, is not a name. Here is telling you the action of the verb. To action is to make straight, to make smooth, to make right.
Wow, yeah.
You understand? So this book is not named after a person. This book is named after the actions of the actions. So Dawid was asking them to learn about that which was the writing of what was right. You understand? So it's not a book of some guy telling you something different. Now let's even go a step further. Because now this is really going to mess you up. Okay. So we found out that it's not a person. I mean, yeah, it's not a person. It's not a personal pronoun. It's not Gerald, David, Moses, Pam. It's none of us. Okay. What it is, look, Exodus chapter number, it's going to tell you all the places where this word has been used. So where's it been used at? Oh, Exodus 15:26. And what does it say? Oh, what is right? Let me get this correct here. Forgive me. Turn this around so I can get a thing. It's defined as what is right. It's defined what is right. It's defined what is upright in Numbers 23:10. Everybody put your eyes on that. 23:27. What does it say? That which is what? Convenient. Let's go to the next one. Deuteronomy 6:18. The same word again. Hayashar is what is right. You can see it again right here. Hayashar. A hey, a yod, a shin, and a resh. Same word, same way it's conjugated. And what does it mean? That which is right. All right. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 12:8. Same word. Hayashar being used again. Deuteronomy 12:25. Hayashar used again. Hayashar 12:28. 13. Okay, so it's all there. Everything is what's right. Everything is upright. You guys are getting it. Joshua 9:25. And that which seems good and right in your sight. 9:25. Correct? 10:13. Uh-oh. What's the difference between 9:25 and 10:13 from what you guys can see? What's the difference? They're using a book of Jasher. This is the first time that it's mentioned. So when we read that, we go, oh, there is a book of Jasher. So when we read the book of Jasher, it goes along with the writings. So it's good because it was mentioned in our writings. So it verifies that this might be legit. But we didn't know that this is not a person. This is not a person. It's not. It's being used here as an adjective. This right here is not an adjective. It is being used to do and do good. It seems what is good and right. Okay. Got to verify if it's a verb or an adjective because we both saw that it's never used as a name.
So, Brother Dawid,
yes.
I don't know. I may be totally off, but then it would seem to me that maybe the Ashkenazis changed that to lead people astray.
Oh, you're on it. Because that's where they get all their other teachings from. You're on it. You're not incorrect. So Joshua 10:13, and listen, I'm not a genius, you guys, But when this rabbi came to me and brought this up, and he was a rabbinic study Jewish dude, and who turned from Judaism, and now he's a Muslim. But he used the book of Jasher to tell me that there was an error in the writings. And I said, well, let's go verify. So I had to explain to him, which I'm explaining to us today, that this is not a person, but it's mentioned here as a person, because you and I would think it's the book of Jasher. Because
was there a book? Was there a person that was name was Yashar?
No, because I asked him. No, it's not. Every single the word Yashar is mentioned 120 times in the Tanakh. Out of that 120 times, it's only found 2 times in the Tanakh to be the word Jasher. Every other time it is in the side of right, that which is right, what is right, what is convenient, all the other ways it's supposed to be used. So Joshua 10:13 uses, that's the first time it's mentioned. And they are trying to get us to believe that this is a book of a person who wrote it. And it's not. I asked him, is Jasher a prophet? No, he's not. Is Jasher, who is Jasher's family? Who's their father? Is he from the priesthood? Where is he? And I can't tell you, it's not in the Torah. But then it's okay. So listen to that. Let's continue. So I want you to remember that the first time that it's ever mentioned as a person is in right here, 10:13. Let's continue. The second place that is mentioned is the verse that I went to, because Judges, it doesn't say it. Judges 21, it doesn't say it. 1 Samuel doesn't mention it. 1 Samuel 29:6 says, you have been made upright. 2 Samuel 1:18. Oh, this is our second time and only other time. So let's go here now. So now that we know that it's been in Joshua chapter number 10, verse 13, as a person, again, to throw you off, it's going to tell us again, it's written in the book of. That word right there is not in the Hebrew, as you pointed out, Gerald. It's not of Jasher. Because if you think it's of someone, it's the book of Moshe, the Torah of Yahweh. Of means that it's from that person.
Yes.
And plus, because it's capitalized, you and I grew up and thought everything that is capitalized is a noun. It's a person.
A proper noun.
It's a proper noun. It's a person, it's a place, or it's a person, place, or thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at, and the way that we were taught, automatically our eyes would go, oh, that's a person, because it's capitalized J. And it's interesting that there is no letter J, it's a letter Y.
Yes.
Okay, so there's only 2 places that this word is brought out as Jasher. And every time it's mentioned, is written in the book of Jasher, as if there is a book of this person.
So I have a question, Dawid. So
yes.
So that book of Jasher that everybody's reading, what is it?
That's what I'm about to show you. Now I'm going to show you the deep part. This is going to crush you.
And it's a big bait too. It pulls you in.
It's a hook. Kelvin,
yes.
You said earlier, they got the hooks in you. This is the biggest hook, but you're about to see. This is why I don't even trust the translators, because even the Bible Hub here is going to show you. This Bible Hub is going to show you that they're not honest. You got to know the Hebrew language. You got to study the verbs and the tenses, because if you don't, they can push you in another direction and you'll just read right over and skim code and be on about your business. And then you go pick up a copy of the Jasher and you start reading that and you start adding to what y'all said.
And get confused like
Jasher.
Get confused like he did, and now he's Muslim.
Now he's a Muslim because he's saying there's all kind of problems and it's corrupted. So now I told him, now we found this. You can look at I had a debate with him today. I said, now if you saw this, would you concede to it? He said, yeah, I'll concede. Great. Now that you understand that, you understand. So you can't use this no more as a corruption. So let me show you how these biblical writers, these translators are trying to move people to a different direction. I'm going to ask everybody the same question. What does this say right here?
In the book of Jasher.
It is written in the book of
Yeah.
Jasher. Correct? Everybody see
Yes.
that?
Mhm.
And we're in 2 Samuel chapter number 1, verse number 18. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, well, let's see what happens when you dig deeper and you got your eyes open. I'm going to click on 2:18 and it's going to show you something. Okay, this is a little breakdown of each one of the words, but I want to show you in line so you'll be able to see it without no interruption. And it's just going to deal with that verse alone. It says, and he told, talking about David, to teach the sons of Yehuda the song of the bow, right? And indeed, it is Ketuvah, it is writing in upon the Sefer, and then they got of Jasher.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between what I had you read and what they have? Nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got you on the Jasher thing. So you're still thinking this is the book of Jasher, right?
Right.
All right. I'm wanting everybody to verify what I just said. So they got you thinking there's a book of Jasher. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back one more time. And I'm going to scroll down to the book of Joshua where it was first mentioned. The first time Jasher was ever mentioned in Joshua. Check this out. There it is, Joshua 10:13. That's the first time it's ever mentioned. You guys see that? I want everybody to see it. The first time it was ever mentioned as Jasher, not as upright, was here. It's in 10:13. Okay. Now it says Jasher. Everybody sees it. I'm going to click on it now for you. And I want to show you what you got to be careful about. Click on it. I'm going to go to interlinear. It's going to deal with this verse alone. And it says this. And so stood the sun and the moon stopped. Okay. Until it had revenged the people upon their enemies. Right? And then it says, Halo he, isn't it not Ketuvah? Again, they got it in the past tense. Written, that throws you off. It's an ing. So it's never, listen, it's never going to be stopped writing. You understand? They're always writing in this book. Listen, they're always writing in it. They call it upon the Sefer of what? Hi, y'all share it right here. How did they translate it?
The upright one. Wow.
What do you see here with the letter? Why did they capitalize upright?
Yeah, they want to make you think it's a person.
They want you to think it's a person.
Yes.
So they're trying to make you think and me think that it's something that's already written. Okay, let me prove the point. Up above the same verse, you have a word that's called stopped. S-T-O-P-P-E-D. Written. R-I-T-T-E-N. It means past tense. In the Hebrew language, when there is nothing in the front of a word, it is perfect. Here you go, P-E-R-F, third person masculine singular. Stop tells you that it's done. That's why it's perfect. Here it is written. It's not in the perfect tense, it's in a participle. That means there is a continual writing. So this is the reason why David told them, go to that in particular book that we keep writing in. Every time
it would be perfect.
happens, they would write it in that book. But they turn around and change the book. Listen to me. They changed the book to the book of Jasher. Here, they call it the book of the upright one. So which one is it? Is it Jasher? Or is it the upright one? And if it is the upright one, who is this upright one?
Upright one. Right.
Who is it? And where is the family of this person? Where's the lineage? Yahweh took and introduced us to all the different people that he wanted to give us what family they came from. You couldn't just go and try to be a priest. You had to go to a registry to tell you, is it written? Did we find your name in there? When Nehemiah then was looking for priests, they had to be qualified. I'm asking the question. I'm going to click on 3477 again, and we're going to look at it, and I'm going to see if there's any lineage for this so-called person, the upright one. Where is he? He's not here. We've already been. Jasher, right there, 1 Samuel. 2 Samuel, is it there? No, convenient. 1 Kings, what is right? 1 Kings 11, what is right? 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 They're not talking about the book, are they? It's 120 occurrences. What's fit? What's right? There is no genealogy whatsoever of a person named Jasher. So if you're reading this, we stopped off in 2 Kings. There's nothing. There's no genealogy. If it was one, you would find it in the book of Chronicles, because that's where Yahweh lists all the names of the people.
And we know
You
it's
understand?
it's in great detail too.
Yes, and it's in great detail. So First Chronicles would give us all of it. Is Second Chronicles is here? Is it there? No, it's what's right. Second Chronicles, what is right? Second Chronicles 24, what is right? Second Chronicles 8:25, what is right? Second Chronicles, what is right? Second Chronicles, what is right? What is right? What is right? What is right? What is conscientious? What is right? What is right? What is safe? What is right? What is just? What is upright? Where is it?
Wow.
Where is this person? This is why Yahweh has warned Israel. And I'm going to show you, because he wants us to know why these people are doing what they're doing. He calls them the lying pens of the scribes. There are liars out here that are trying to get you to do one thing and one thing only. And this is the thing that you can get everybody on. Jeremiah chapter number 23, verse number 25. This is Yah in chapter 23 to give you like a summary. Yah's on people about lying. They're just lying, they're lying, and they're using prophet. The prophets are lying. Everybody's saying that they're speaking and Yah talked to them and everything. Okay. Well, listen to this. Verse number 25 says this. I have heard what these prophets are prophesying lies in my name. And then what they're saying, I had a dream. I have had a dream. He said, how long will this go on? Is in their hearts of the prophets who are prophesying lies? Who is prophesying the deceit of their own minds? With their dreams, they kept telling each other, they hope to cause my people to forget my name. This is the goal. Just as their ancestors forgot my name and they worshiped Baal. That's why Yah is trying to bring us back so he can prove to the world who he is, so he could get rid of the names of these gods. I've read it before where he says, I'm going to take out the names of these gods out your mouth. He says, but someone who has my word should speak my word faithfully. What does the chaff and the wheat have in common? Ask Yahweh. If we're supposed to speak and we're supposed to speak in his name, this is the idea behind any prophet. So the question I have is this: did Paul speak in Yahweh's name?
Nope.
Did Peter speak in Yahweh's name? No. Did JC, the Christ, speak in Yahweh's name? Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, the black guy, the white guy. Did he speak in his name? No. They never spoke in Yahweh's name. The name is where it's at, you guys, because this is the name that Yahweh wants everybody to know. If you don't know his name and you're going around saying that he spoke to you and he didn't speak, you're going to be found out to be a liar. Okay.
Man.
Check this out. Yah warns us, and this is what he says in Deuteronomy chapter number 18, verse number 15. He doesn't say the prophet. He says a prophet. He says this. Yahweh will raise up a prophet, not the prophet. This is where they say, oh, this is Christ. No, it's not. It's a prophet. It could be any prophet. It could be Isaiah. It could be anybody. It could be a false prophet. Listen what he says. He's going to raise up prophets. But you're going to see the difference. Let me get rid of this. You're going to see the difference. He says he will raise up a prophet like me. And this is Moshe talking. He's going to be like me. How? He's going to be from among yourselves, meaning from the children of Israel and from your kinsmen. This is why I asked, where is Jasher's family? You should never touch a book that you don't know who the writers are. Give me the Levitical drop down on Peter, James, and John. They have no heritage whatsoever. They have no lineage. Who's Paul's father? Where did he come from? See, we don't ask any questions. But here Yah says this prophet is going to be like me. He's going to be from among yourselves. That's what this prophet, this individual, and it could be any of them, and from your relatives. You are to pay attention to him. Just as when you were assembled at Korev and you requested Yahweh, your Elohim. This is what we requested. Don't let me hear the voice of Yahweh, my Elohim, anymore. Or let me see this great fire ever again. Or if I die, or if I do, I will die. That's why we got prophets. We got prophets because that's what Israel requested at Mount Korev. So guys, on that occasion, on what occasion? Korev, Yahweh said to me, they are right in what they're saying. They're absolutely correct. Why? Because they said, if we keep hearing them, we're going to die. And Yah says, yeah, because Yahweh didn't finish telling them, if you ever make that idol, I was going to tell you that if you did make that idol, what the consequences of that making that idol was, which was to die. So verse 18, I will raise up for them a prophet like you. So again, this is a prophet. It's not the prophet. It is a prophet. So it could be any prophet. If it was the prophet, it would be a definite article pointing directly to this guy. But it's a. So it's a book, a prophet. It could be any prophet. And Yah's going to qualify him. Number one, he has to be like you from among your family. I will put my words in his mouth. The prophet will be like you, meaning it's going to be like Moshe, because Yah is saying this. I will put my words in his mouth. He, a prophet, will tell them everything I ordered him. Did Isaiah tell Israel everything Yahweh ordered them? Did Jeremiah tell Israel everything Yahweh ordered them?
Yes.
Yes. So then he qualifies and he says, whoever doesn't listen to my words, which he will speak in my name. And his name is the Yod, the Hey, the Wah, and the Hey. This is the name that Israel's to know Yahweh for how long?
Ever.
Forever, from generation to generation. He says, which he will speak in my name. Whoever doesn't listen to him, to my words that this prophet said, will have to give an account of himself to me. So it's optional. You can choose to listen to the prophet or not listen to him, because ultimately you're going to give an account for himself to me. There is not going to be any buffer. Like Moshe tried to say, hey, take me out of your book and blot me out. Yah said, no, whoever doesn't listen to me, that's the person I'm going to blot out. So he's letting him know, you're going to be responsible. I'm holding that person accountable to himself to me. But if a prophet presumptuously, now it's not just talking about a prophet that's like Moshe. He's saying if a prophet, which could be a family person, one of the relatives, will presumptuously speaks a word in my name. That's what Jeremiah 23 is talking about, is that these other prophets speak a word in Yahweh's name too, which I didn't order him to say, or he speaks in a name of any other gods, then that prophet must die. See? So you got someone who speaks in his name, who Yah sent, and you got one who speaks in his name, who presumptuously begins to speak in his own thought, in his own mind. And then here's the question. You may be wondering, as we are today, how are we to know if a word that has not been spoken by Yahweh? That's the question. How are you and I supposed to know? Then he answers, when a prophet speaks in the name of Yahweh, and the prediction does not come true, that is, the words is not fulfilled, then Yahweh did not speak that word.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone tries to apply a prophecy to Yeshua and it never happened, you don't have to listen to that person. The prophet who spoke is spoken presumptuously. You have nothing to fear of him. So what am I saying? I'm saying when Isaiah said a prophecy, or Jeremiah said a prophecy, everything that they said came to pass. It came to pass. Everything that Zechariah said came to pass. So Yah's letting us know when I send a prophet, the things that he's telling you, they're going to come to pass. Otherwise, you shouldn't have to listen to them. When Moshe told us that we're going to go into slavery and we're going to be scattered, did it happen?
Yep.
So should you listen to Moshe?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can trust him. Isaiah told them that Yah was going to burn down Jerusalem. Did it happen?
Yes.
Yes, it did. Ezekiel told his people some of the same things, and he was as a sign. He laid on his side. And he said, "You guys are going to exile." Did it happen?
Yes.
Yes, it did. Were their kings removed, like he said? Absolutely. When Jeremiah said these things, that Babylon was coming in 3 times, did it happen? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The book of Daniel said that Daniel was searching the scriptures, which we define as scripture is what the prophets wrote, and he was looking in the book of Jeremiah to find out how long it was going to be. And Jeremiah said in chapter number 25, it's going to be 70 years. Did that happen?
Yes.
Yes. The book of Joel, that happened. You understand? Isaiah 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Did it happen? Yes, everything happened. You understand? So when Yah says that I'm talking to you, I need you to qualify and make sure that you know that if they said it in my name, then you got to find out, did it happen? If they said it in my name and it never happened, don't listen to that person. So is Yah asking you to believe in anything?
Believe in him.
He's telling you, listen and pay attention to the words that I say. He didn't say, if you don't believe my words. He never said that. He says, whoever doesn't listen to my words. Listening to his words is what causes us to take action. Because every time he told us to do something, it was the same identical thing. He's always said the same identical thing. He said, I've sent plenty of prophets to you, but you guys would never listen to my words. And the message has always been the same.
Yep.
The message has never, ever changed. And to this day, the message is still identical to what it was. Look at here, Jeremiah chapter number 25. Look at what it says. He's a prophet. He's like Moshe. He's from there, right? Yah says this to him. Boy, he tells him what he's going to do to him. I'm not going to get into all that because he's talking about listen. Oh, there it is, the 70 years. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, here it is. This entire land will become a ruin, a waste. These nations will serve the king of Babel for 70 years. It happened. When the 70 years are over, I will punish the king of Babel and that nation and their sin, says Yahweh. Did that happen? Yes. I will return the land of Kasdim into an everlasting ruins. Yes, because they never became a kingdom again. I will inflict on that land all my words that I've decreed against it. Yes, everything written in this book in which Jeremiah has prophesied against the nations. You understand? So that happened. But that's not the part I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you where it says this.
Your screen is reduced.
Oh, it's reduced?
Mhm.
Oh, can you see it now?
It's still reduced.
It's reduced. All right, so let me get out. All right, we're going to go back in because this is powerful. We're not going to let anything stop us from getting an understanding. because our people are being lied to. They are being lied to on a regular basis. Here it is, 25:4. Let's go. It says this. Can you see the screen?
No,
You can't?
I can see it on my side.
I can see it.
it's reduced on mine.
Well, this is what it says. 25:4 says this.
Is it 20 and 4 or 25 and 4?
Yeah, 20, I'm sorry, 25 and verse number 4. Listen what Yahweh said. Oh, well, let's go to 25 and 23. I mean, 25:3. Let me slow down. Chapter number 25, verse number 3. This is what Yeremiah said. He said, for 23 years, since the 13th year of Yashayahu, the son of Ammon, the king of Yehuda, until today, the word of who? Yahweh has come to me. I have proclaimed it to you on numerous occasions, but you haven't listened. Moreover, Yahweh sent you all his servants, the prophets, again on numerous occasions, but you did not listen or pay attention. The message was always. So if we want to know what it is, and we want to know why Yah sent his servants, the prophets, it tells us exactly why Yahweh has always sent the servant, the prophets, to us to do something, that is to listen and pay attention. The message was always, every one of you turn back from his evil way and from what? Your evil actions. Those are verbs. Then you will live in the land the Yahweh gave you and your ancestors for how long? Forever and ever. That's the message. It's always been the same. It's always been the same message, guys. Don't follow other gods by serving and worshiping them. Don't provoke my anger with these things your own hands have made. Then I will do you no harm. If you provoke me, I'm going to do you harm. Do you understand? But you wouldn't listen to me, says Yahweh. You wouldn't listen to me so that you can provoke me with your product of your hands to your own harm. You guys are doing this. It's not me. You are, because you guys won't listen and you won't pay attention to what I said. Verse 8. Therefore, here is what Yahweh Zavaoth, meaning Yahweh of heaven's army, says. Because you haven't paid attention to what I've been saying, I'm going to send for all the families of the north. Right? Says Yahweh. And for my servant, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. So you're telling me that the king of Babel that he sent against them was his servant? Yes, he was. I'm going to bring him against this land and against its inhabitants and against all the surrounding nations. I will completely destroy them, making them an object of horror and ridicule and a perpetual ruin. You understand? Because you guys won't what? Listen. Yah's letting us know that this has been the problem since day number 1. That's it. The servants, his prophets, are here to tell you exactly what Yahweh is going to do. If we start listening to Yahweh, we will be okay. The reason why we're not okay is because we don't listen to Yahweh. We're not listening to his voice. Okay? In closing, it says this. I want to go to 49. Chapter number 49 says this. Yah is talking using the prophet Isaiah, chapter number 49. He says, coastlands, listen to me. So now Yah is not only asking Israel to listen, but Yah is using the prophet Isaiah to listen, or tell them to listen. So this person who's talking right here, he's about to tell you who's this person. The me right here is, you're going to find out. Listen, you peoples far away. Yahweh called me. Yahweh called me from what? From the womb. That's when Yahweh called me. To be here called means Yahweh proclaimed. And he did call to me. And before I was born, Yahweh called me. He has spoken my name before I was born. Yahweh had proclaimed my name before I was even born. He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. People say that's Christ. We'll find out if it is. While hiding me in the shadow of his hand. He has made me like a sharpened arrow while concealing me in his quiver. He said to me, the same me that says, listen to me, you are my servant. The same one that he called from the womb. And guess who the servant is? Israel. Israel is speaking to the coastlands, and they're telling them who they are and letting them know who called them, through whom I will show my glory. Yahweh's intention is to show his glory through Israel. You understand? But I said, and the I here that's talking is Yisrael. But what did Yisrael say? I have toiled in vain, and I spent my strength for nothing, futility. Yet my cause is with Yahweh, and my reward is with my Elohim. That's who you are. You're Yahweh's servant, and you have said, I have toiled in vain, and I've spent my strength on futility, meaning for nothingness. Yet my cause, meaning my plead, my argument, my cause in front of the creator of the heavens and the earth is with Yahweh. And he's the one who's going to try my case for me. And he's the one and my reward is with Elohim. Verse 5. So now Yahweh says, this is what Yahweh says. So now Yahweh says, now let's hear what Yahweh says. Yahweh says he formed me in the womb to be his servant. Who's his servant? Who's his servant? Israel. Israel's his servant. That's number one. Number two, what Yahweh says. Yahweh says he's going to bring Yaakov back to him, back to himself. What else did Yahweh say? Number three, because there's a comma after that, that he will have gathered Israel to himself, back to him, right? So that I will be honored in the sight of Yahweh. That's why Yah is bringing us back to him. That's why he formed us in the womb. That's why Yahweh is going to bring Yaakov back to him. That's why Yahweh is going to gather Israel to him so that Israel can be gathered and be honored in the sight of Yahweh. My Elohim having become my strength. We don't have any strength right now. We don't have any strength whatsoever without our Elohim. I want to end the study on that tonight. We got more coming on Shabbat. So you don't want me to leave without showing you this. I'm sorry. Just one verse. Chapter number 34, verse number 16, to kind of confirm what Yah's talking about all these other books. So you can be clear about the only book that you need to read is out of Yahweh's book. Watch this. It says, consult the book of what? Verse 16. Isaiah, chapter number 34.
Of Yahweh.
You need to consult this. And you need to read it. Because when you read it, not one of these will be missing. Everything, it will not be lacking a mate, meaning everything that he said will be confirmed by something else that he said. So when Moshe talks about being scattered, so does Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, okay, and all other prophets. When Moshe talks about gathering Israel, all of them say the same thing. When they all talk about bringing an offering to Yahweh, it's all saying the same thing. You understand? For by his own mouth he gave the order, and by his spirit he brought them together. It is he who will cast lot for them. His hand measured out their shares. They will possess it forever. and live there through all generations, making reference to the land. In every one of the prophets, Yah talks about the land. Yes, Akoti, Pamela.
Thank you. You went before you got into Isaiah 49, you were talking about Jeremiah 25, around 6 and 10. I couldn't help but think of the question, is it Yah then that's doing evil to us by using others to do it? And
Yes.
is
Yes,
there
that's
is there
yes.
really a devil or an adversary?
No,
Or
well,
Yah in charge of it all?
Yah's in charge of everything, and Yah sends adversaries. As a matter of fact, the angel of Yahweh was identified as Hashatan. Yah
Okay.
calls him Hashatan. He
Mhm.
calls him the adversary. Yah uses his malaks as adversaries against Israel.
So Hashatan is actually an employee of Yah.
Anybody, they call David a Hashatan. Anybody that Yah uses to oppose anybody is a Hashatan.
Oh, okay.
So there is, and we'll do a study on that, and we'll look at that on Shabbat. Anybody that Yah needs to use as a Hashatan, he uses them because that's what he does. Yah's in charge. He says, if there's good in the land, haven't I done it? If there's evil in the land, have I not
done that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Christian world think you Satan is a devil.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you're the devil because Yah says that I have created both. I've created both the good and the evil, right? My point was is that Yah's telling us that if you're going to consult anything,
That's what he said.
you want to consult anything, you need to consult me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to look at any book, you need to be looking at the book for me. That's what you need to be doing. You don't need to be trying to figure out anything except for what I said. I don't care about what anybody else is talking. It's what did I say? And that's where our people, Yah has created both good and evil. And for his purposes. Yah says, I'll bring harm to you. I will wipe you off the face of this earth. Yes, Sister Pam.
I'm sorry. I was trying to erase it.
No, you're fine. So I need everyone to understand this. Don't get lost in the sauce. Do not get lost in the sauce. Don't let anybody try to tell you that you could go read the book of Jasher and it's the book that Jasher wrote concerning the Torah. Not true. Yah tells us don't add to anything I said. The safest thing for us to understand is this. The prophets are only there to warn Israel. They're not there to teach them nothing. The only thing everyone's ever taught out of is the Torah of Moshe, which Yah gave to him face to face. Don't you understand that? Anything else, the writings and the Proverbs, that's to encourage us and to get us to praise Yah and to give thankfulness. The prophets are to warn us and tell us what's coming. But the instructions and how to conduct your life is going to be based in the Torah. It's the Torah that gives us life. Yah tells in Ezekiel, I gave you the Torah. Whoever does the Torah has life. Whoever doesn't do it, they die. Do I take any pleasure in the wicked dying? No. Yah said, I swear I don't take any pleasure in it. But the Elohim that we serve is one that tells us, and I'm going to make it real clear. I'm telling you with everything I have inside of my soul right now, you and I better understand this one thing. If you listen to anybody else besides what he said, it's on you. It's your own fault. If you die, it's your own fault. If you get put to death because you wanted to listen to what somebody else says, this is what got me. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you see this chart right here? You see this? I know you can see it, can't you?
Yes, yes.
Well, let me tell you about this. This is called the Tetragrammaton. The Greeks wrote this, okay? The Greeks said, let's go find out how many times that they used the word Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. And it's written. That's why it's called the Tetragrammaton. Tetra means the four. The four sacred letters. The Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. It is mentioned alone in the book of Jeremiah, Yahweh's name, not Adonai, not Lord, not Master. His actual name is Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. That's what he declared to Moshe in Ezekiel, Exodus chapter number 34, verse 6, Exodus chapter number 3, verse 15. His name is forever. Jeremiah alone has 726 times. Deuteronomy 550, is that 59? 50 times. Isaiah 450 times. Ezekiel 434 times. David loved it 695 times.
Yeah, Dawood, you
Yes.
think that they didn't put his name in those other books? Because, I mean, if they really wanted to make us think that he was speaking in those books, they would have said that he said something in there. But why do you think they didn't?
Here's the answer. Because they know, and remember, Yah says, if anybody comes to you in my name, it has to come to pass. And if anybody speaks that, they're already condemned, right? So the reason when the Greeks took the Hebrew Bible, because there is a Hebrew Bible, okay? It's not the Bible that you and I are reading today. It's not the one with the Aramaic script. There is a Hebrew Bible, you guys, with the original Hebrew Bible that was written thousands of years ago that they took and they translated it. And okay, so they translated it into Greek. Okay, I call it Koine, or yeah, Koine Greek. Okay,
So it's the Greek Hebrew Bible.
right. So no, it's not Greek Hebrew. They said, the Greeks said, let's we're not going to get rid of this. We're not getting rid of this. All we're doing is making a copy of it in our language, because the people that we've overcome, they're part of our community. So let's create. And so they got convinced by this guy named Ptolemy II. Let's make a copy. So they made a copy of the Hebrew Bible. Okay. When they made that copy, right, they did not, they used the Tetragrammaton, the Yohe-Wahe, because that was the Yohe-Wahe is written in the Hebrew Bible. Okay. But when after they finished doing the Septuagint, right? Check this out. After they finished doing the Septuagint, they only transferred and translated, meaning they gave it their meaning to their words. And why did I put a 5 there? They translated it into their culture. They transliterated it. Translit means that they put it in their letters so their people can read it and understand it. Translate it meaning to turn it into their culture so they can understand what those words mean. See, so they changed the word from ahav to the word agape or starge or whatever they decided to do. But one thing that they did do is they put the Yohe-Wahe in the first 5 books of the Torah. Okay. After they finished doing the first 5 books of the Torah, they came back later and did the prophets. They did the Psalms and all this stuff at a way later date. But when they did those books, they changed the Yohe-Wahe and they put it into a word called Kyrios, which is Lord. So they took Yah's name out from those books and put Lord. And then eventually, when those copies went back, they then turned all of the Septuagint and took his name out completely. That's why it's never mentioned in any of their writings. And that's why it's never mentioned in the New Testament. So their Lord is a different Lord. Their Lord is their God, the God that has a son, the God that has the Holy Spirit. So it's God turning into a human being and the human being leaving and then leaving a spirit behind. And then you're filled with this spirit. And then you now serve this Lord. You serve Kyrios. That's the Lord. You think you're getting the same God. You're not. You're getting a different God. You're getting the God because they know who Yahweh is. Well, remember what he said. He said that these people, because they only have one intention. And what is that intention? He says, so they will forget my name. That's the only reason, is to get off of him. Because if you and I get on his name, listen to this. On our last couple of Torah studies, we've been saying what his name meant. His name is Yohe-Wahe. He declared it. He proclaimed it. Because in his name, listen to this. What's in his name? Somebody tell me. What is he saying that's in his name?
His character.
Yes, it's his character. And Moshe told, and he declared his character to Moshe, and he told Moshe who he was. So anytime we hear Yahweh's name, he's telling you and I who he is and how he operates. So what they didn't want you to know, Kel, and what they don't want anybody to know, they want us to forget his name. Because if we forget his name, we're going to forget these things. We're going to forget his character. And his character says this right here in 34:6. Yahweh passed before him and he proclaimed, Yohe-Wahe. Yohe-Wahe is Elohim. That right there kills everything. Yohe-Wahe is Elohim. Yahweh implied Elohim. That's number one. Number two, he's merciful. So he's letting us know, when you call on me, I'm merciful. You tell me I'm compassionate and I am slow to anger. I'm rich in grace and truth, and I'm going to show you grace. So if you know my name, you'll know this is what it is. And I'm going to tell you how long I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to the 1,000th generation. And what else do? I forgive offenses. Yes, Yahweh does this. And he forgives crimes and sins. So does he mention Yeshua? No. But also he lets you know that I don't exonerate the guilty. But on the cross, you get exonerated. Did you see the difference? So if you hold on to this God and they introduce this God into the Greek culture, they can't do what they're doing because they have to follow what he says.
Whew.
Do you understand that? They don't want the negative effects of the parents' sins and offenses to be experienced by the children anymore. To the third and fourth, they want to rid all this. We could get rid of the Sabbath. We could get rid of the diet. We could get rid of these so-called laws that prohibit us from doing what we want to do. Are you crazy? Do you think we want to mention his name? No. We're not going to mention his name because he's merciful and he's compassionate. And I will not exonerate the guilty. But here's the cold part. Here is the coldest part of the whole thing. When you start putting the pieces together, he says this. Then Yahweh said, these words going to tell you the covenant. These are the 10 words for the covenant. The first word that he says is Anoki Yahweh Eloheinu. That word Adonai right there is not Adonai. This is what the translator put because they said, oh, his name is too holy to be pronounced. It's Yohe-Wahe, which is Yahweh. I am Eloheinu. Anoki, I am this one. I'm your Elohim. That is the first word of the covenant. I'm the one who, Asher, Hotzithika, brought you out from the land of Mizraim, a place of slavery. I need you to remember that because you're going to go back into slavery. And if I'm the one who brought you out of the slavery, and put you into slavery, I'm the one who's going to bring you out of slavery. You are not to have any other gods before me, any other Elohim, because I'm your Elohim. I'm Eloheinu. But if you forget my name, the name that's mentioned over 6,828 times, then you're going to listen to what thus saith the Lord. You're going to listen to what Peter and Paul and John and Mark, Matthew, Titus, Timothy, and all of them said. Books that they don't even know who the authors are. This rabbi today told me you don't believe in the book of Revelation. Why should I believe in the book of Revelation? It wasn't canonized until 300 years after all these other books. You want me to abandon what Yahweh says? No. We're not going to abandon him. He said, your ancestors forgot my name. If you listen to what his name is, you'd be like, wait a minute, what's his name? What did he say? The first word of the covenant is I'm Yahweh. Anoki, I am Yahweh. I'm the one who brought you out. Why did he tell him I'm the one who brought you out? Why is that so important? Why is that the first word that he tells them in the covenant? Because he's letting you know that there is no other. Do you understand? I'm the God. That's the name I gave you. That's the name I introduced you to. I didn't introduce myself to your father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by that name. Why? Because I didn't have to come and get them out of slavery. I didn't have to do that for them. I have to do it for their descendants. Yahweh's name means he's the self-existing one. Then he tells us his character. You'll know that I'm Yahweh. He says, you guys don't even know who I am, but you'll know after I do this, after I come and regather you, after I destroy the nations, after I destroy everybody. Then you're going to know that I'm Yahweh. He says it all the time. He said it like 20, 30 times in Ezekiel. Then you'll know. Well, why is it going to take then? Because after I got to do something first for you to know who I am. Because you guys are confused. That's why I got to come and get those names of those gods out of your mouth. Because you, for some reason or another, think that I have a son that died on the cross when I told you I'm not exonerating the guilty. I will never kill the innocent for the wicked. And the type of person that would accept the death of the innocent on their behalf is wicked. You're telling me that you would accept a person that would accept an innocent person to die on their behalf is the same person that would offer an innocent child up to be killed. It's the same type of mindset. Even after Yah says, I hate the death and the shedding of innocent blood. And we're going to say, oh, he gave you innocent blood.
Hey, Brother Dawid.
Yes.
And I thought about this working in the prison system. You have never, ever, ever, not once seen where the government allowed one person to accept the crime and go to prison for another person's guilt.
You've never time.
Not one time. If
where?
Isaiah did something, if he committed murder, they would not let me go to prison for him.
No, that is unjust. And what court in what land would ever do such a thing?
But we accept it with this Jesus Christ.
We accept it with that God, because that God is
with that loving God.
He's the God of forgiveness. He's the God that says, I'm going to wipe away. But see, what they don't understand is the Elohim that we serve says, I will wipe away all your offenses and crimes. I will forgive you, but I'm not going to let you go without you having to pay for it. I'm the God that told you in Leviticus that you're going to have to confess and admit your crimes against me as you were in court. Did you do it? Yes, I did. What are you going to do now? Okay, we're going to sit through our punishment. Yes. And after you finish, when you're there, I want you to think about it, right? Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, well, you sit there and you think about what you've done. You don't let your kid go because he said he's sorry after you've been instructing him and instructing him and instructing him. And all of a sudden he says, I'm sorry. And then you look, I can read to you where Yah says, guess what? There won't be no more mercy. I'm tired of talking. That's what Yah said. So he had to do this to us, but in his mercy, because he says I'm merciful, right? His mercy is coming back and gathering us. His mercy is remembering what he said to our fathers. His mercy was demonstrated when he was going to kill everybody in Israel, and Moshe begged him not to do it. So if Moshe's the one who begged so we can be existing today, don't you think we need to read the words of Moshe? Or should we read about somebody that never told us that somebody tried to go on our behalf? Listen, Yahweh will not let go a guilty person from not a crime. You can go look at it for yourself. In Exodus chapter number 22, it's part of what they call the Mishpatim. It's when he gives the judgment. He said, if I mistreat a widow or a fatherless child, I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to take a couple of lambs. There's no sacrifice for that because they're his people. So there's a certain level, you understand? When we talk about being righteous, and this is why I can't stand for people to say that they're holy and they're righteous, because you're not. There's no way possible. We are in captivity. We're in exile. That word exile is a clean way of saying you're still in chains. If we weren't in chains, then why do Yah says, I got to come and pop the lock off your neck and take the yoke off you and take the fetters off of you? You and I don't recognize, we don't understand that we're captives. We're so comfortable now, we don't even know that we're captives. You don't have no rights in this land. You have that. If you had rights, then why are you fighting for them? Why are you jumping around and celebrating, having a barbecue because they forgot to tell you hundreds of years before that you were set free? So now they give you a holiday, so now you're happy. Are you kidding me? You don't have no land here. You don't. You don't have any opportunity to grow your family. Not here. Praise the Holy One. Yeah, this is what it is. And we have to accept it. We're in captivity. So what do you do when you're in captivity? Well, go to the book of Ezekiel. He tells you what you need to do. He says, think about your behavior, think about your ancestors. And even if you need to go get a strong drink, like I always tell people, go sit down with a glass of brandy and think about it, or get some wine and sit there and meditate upon it. And think about it, how many of your ancestors broke the Shabbat? And then you ask yourself, do I deserve to die? Yes. But his mercy is he introduces us back to himself through the Torah. You did not come to the Torah because the New Testament told you to go to the Torah. You didn't come back to the laws of Yah because some Peter, James, and John told you to. You didn't come back to the Torah because Yeshua told you to go and keep the Torah. He never, one little line, make sure, keep the Torah of Moshe. And then he never tells you about the Moedims. He never tells you about the Shabbats. He never tells you about the land. He never tells you about restoring Israel and gathering. He never mentions any of those things. He never even writes his own book. He doesn't even use none of his disciples to write a book. Do you hear what I just told you? They weren't writing. They wrote, somebody else gave the names of those gospels. Those gospels were named by the church fathers, the early European church fathers, in 185 AD, 150 years later, after the supposed death of this guy. Is anybody talking about that? No, because you know why? They're not interested in scholarship. They don't want to know. You understand? So why not go back to that which is original and go back and find out where we lost our steps? That's true repentance. That's teshuvah. That's the turn. That's to go back to where you came from. Shuving also has with the idea of captivity. You're going to go into captivity, and shuv means you're going to turn back around and go the opposite direction and go back out of your captivity. So get out of your captivity first in your mind and understand I'm a captive and I need to make some adjustments and I need to change my ways and I need to listen to what Yahweh says. That's what this teaching is going to be about. And that's every teaching that I say. It's the same thing. If somebody's not telling you what he said, you don't want to listen to him. You do not want to listen to nobody say, well, hey, this is what this one said, this one. No. What did Yahweh say? Even if a prophet said it, he said, did he say it? He said it in my name? Verify. Did it happen? You better verify it. Because he says, if you don't listen, that person, individual, I'm going to hold them responsible. They're going to have to answer to me. That's it. That's the class tonight. I love each and every last one of you. Don't play no game with yourself. You better understand. Don't you listen to no man. Cursed is the man that putteth trust in a man. Period. We need to trust Yahweh. Yahweh is our salvation. You understand? For Israel and for the whole world. Because he's going to use us to bring about that light and the change in the Torah to the rest of the nations, as we will find later on in our teachings. Any questions before I go? Before I let you guys get your rest tonight. I appreciate your time. It's a rich lesson. You're absolutely right, sister. It is a rich lesson. Praise the Holy One of Israel.
Praise him, yes.
Yes. And the frequency is turning up. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the tension is turning up in the world. But the frequency of Yahweh's word and what he's really trying to get us to understand is, don't you go to sleep on this. Don't you fall back and say, well, no, I'm going to read this. No. If you don't know the Torah, you shouldn't be reading any other book. If you don't know the Torah, you should not be reading any book. Akik Gerald, you already know what Proverbs 28:3 says. You already know. Those who don't listen is what? Your prayer is an abomination.
Even your prayer is an abomination.
Your prayer is an abomination to the Holy One of Israel. That means it's disgusting to him.
Yes.
If you refuse to listen to what Yahweh says, you're dead. And it's not because he wants to kill you, because he says, I don't want to. But if you refuse to listen to the words of the Holy One that he declared to the only one family on the face of the earth, and you're part of that family, you are part of that family. And if our Father says something, we need to do what he says.
Yes, hallelujah.
We don't need to do no talk back and listen to Uncle such and such a neighbor and all that. What did he say? You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. And that's where we're going to continue to go, because Yahweh loves us. And he's trying to get us to get right, because he is coming. Oh, he's coming. And he's bringing a whirlwind, and he's going to put the whirlwind on the head of the wicked. And it's going to be dreadful. It's going to be terrible. And if you didn't listen, you're dead. I hope you know that. So you have to turn back to him with a whole heart, and you can do it. And don't you dare say you can't do it, because the New Testament and the Christians told you that you don't have capacity, that it's not in you to do anything good. The witnesses that you have that you can do it is, number one, Noah did it. Abraham did it. Yitzchak did it. Yaakov did it. His sons did it. Okay. They had their errors and mistakes. Everyone does, but they did it. David did it. Did he not? Did he make mistakes? Yes, he did. Did y'all forgive him? Yes, he did. Did y'all kill an innocent person and nail a person to the cross for him? No, he didn't. He forgave him even before the child died. He forgave him and said, you're forgiven. Unfortunately, your child's going to die because he was already sick. He was on his way dying anyway. And not only is your child going to die, but all hell's going to break loose in your household because of what you've done, because you did it publicly in front of Israel. I'm going to publicly show them what happens to anybody. So did y'all show him any favoritism? No, he didn't.
Nope.
You understand? So can you do this? Yes, you can. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes, you will. But you guess what? I'm going to tell you one thing you better not do. You better not do it deliberately. You better not do a deliberate act against the Holy One. And what I mean by that? Oh, well, I'll just eat this bacon cheeseburger. It's not a big deal. You better not do that. You better not have another idol with another name, a person's name in your mouth. You better not do that. You got any idols in your house and pictures of a God on a cross? You need to get out your house immediately. If you got one today, you need to get it out your house when you get off of this phone call.
Say remove the curse
you're
thing,
bringing a
or
curse
you'll be
on
accursed with
yourself.
it.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
cursed, and if it's there, you're condemned to die with it. Well, he
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. Yes, he will. He told anybody to touch these people or anything that belongs to them, you dying right along with them. Don't touch nothing that belongs to this people and their family, because I'm killing everybody. Move out the way. Moshe said, don't touch nothing that belongs to them. Why not touch his mule or his donkey or his sheep? Because they're gonna die. And if you touch, you dying too. You understand? That's our Elohim. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. I love
he was
each and every
jealous.
last one of you. Anything else before we go?
Could I give a note? Tonight, I think it's in the morning, or actually early Friday morning, is supposed to be a almost total eclipse of the moon. And it is
Yeah.
supposed to be a blood moon.
A blood moon. Yes, we're all waiting for that. Yes, it's gonna be nice, right? Yeah. And those are signs. You know, Yah says, I'll use the sun and moon and the stars for signs and seasons. It's not just for seasons and years and days and times and seasons, but it's also for signs.
Yes.
So if you want to be, if you don't got it right, you can make it right, you know, and the people who want to make it right are going to make it right. You know, and the people online today, they want to make it right. You guys are here because you want to make it right. You want a relationship with the Holy One of Israel. But guess what he's telling all of us? And he's saying it. It's not going to be on your terms. It will never be on your terms. You guys have done wrong and your ancestors have done wrong. And the way you're going to make up for it is, the first thing you go do is you're going to listen to what I said. And if you could do that, then we can talk. You're not interested in doing what I'm saying, but you're playing a game because you say you're Israel, I'm going to kill you. Just like I did your ancestors. And you don't have to wait for it, okay? It's coming. It's guaranteed. Because he doesn't owe us anything. And if you want your family line to continue, then do what Yahweh says. It's just that simple. Yahweh's not asking us to go out and sacrifice the innocent and kill nobody. He's not asking us for, did he ask you and I for $1? No. Guess what I'm asking you for? I'm asking you for your mind. I'm asking you for your innermost being. And I want you to feel bad about what you've done. I don't want you to do like Adam. I don't want you to go hide behind a tree and blame it on other people. I don't want you to say, oh, they told me. She told me to do this. Paul said this. I read it in the New Testament and the Greeks gave it to me. Guess what you're going to say? I already told you I sent you somewhere to go worship other gods. So why are you telling someone I don't already know? I'm testing you. I told you I'll send a false prophet. Did I not tell you that? Well, I don't know. Well, did you read Deuteronomy 13? Yeah, I did read it, but did you read it? No, well, I didn't really read it, but but you don't know. I was testing you. I sent Paul to you to see if you would do what I said. And you chose Paul. So guess what? You gone. I just want to see if you love me with all your heart, but you love Christ. So you get to die with him. Next.
I think the whole New Testament is a test of Yahweh to see whether or not we would go for it.
It is. It is a new
Right.
testament.
Yeah. You're
It's the
right.
new test. Yeah, it's the New Testament, the new witness. It's to see whether or not you're going to believe those witnesses, because testament means witnesses.
Yes,
Because the New Testament has witnesses of his death and his burial and his resurrection, correct?
correct.
So you believe that, or you can believe and listen to what Yah's testimony is.
Mhm.
Both parties are giving a testimony. So in the Torah, Yah gives his testimony, puts it in a gold box and calls it the 10 words. That's what I said. Now you got this other testimony. You can listen to that testimony if you want to. Which one are you going to listen to? Yah's testimony or
Yah's.
Paul's testimony?
Yeah, Yah's.
You better, yeah, it's up to you. All right, you guys. Lila Tov, I say shalom to you, and we'll see you guys a little bit later, okay?
Shalom.
Lila Tov.
Lila
You guys,
Tov.
I will be live. I'm gonna be live on Shabbat, and we're gonna ask the Holy One of Israel to come in and help us understand what he has to say. You know, and because again, it's gonna be something that I think it'll be empowering to you. We're gonna talk about the stars and the moon and the sun.
Wait a minute, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
said,
Bikram,
hold
tell
on.
your family I say hello and I love them.
I will do. Likewise.
All right,
Shalom.
everyone. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Hello.